Hello and welcome to the very first After Dark with Up Past Bedtime episode. It's really weird not saying like, welcome back. You know, I'm Bella Messina. You'll be staying up late with me. This is going to be a very special bonus segment of Up Past Bedtime that I'm going to be doing this season. There is going to be 4 After Dark bonus episodes, and these are meant to be just very, very fun, girly sort of time. This season is so focused on sort of a bit of self-development and self-help that I wanted to make sure we kept sort of the fun, girly chat element of Up Past Bedtime, and I decided to make a little bonus segment, all right? Give you guys some extra episodes than trying to like smush something into like the end or start of an episode. And the whole point of After Dark is to really just talk about the stuff that you can really only talk about with your best girlfriends, all right? That is meant to be the point. Stuff that's a bit uncomfortable or taboo or cheeky. That is what we're going to be talking about over here. And I have a fun one for our first After Dark, and that is truth or drink. I am going back to my roots, okay, guys? I am in my pajamas filming this. It is like 11:30 at night on a Saturday. A bit rogue of me to be recording this late, but it is what it is, Dolly. I have ADHD, and sometimes, you know, the motivation comes at 11:30 at night for me. Got a big glass of red here, okay? I was originally going to do shots every time I didn't want to answer a question. But that was when my mum was looking after the girls for the night so that I could like record this. She got sick and I was like, I can't really be inebriated if like I've got to tend to my children. So got a glass of wine. We'll just be doing a little sip of wine when I don't want to answer a question. To be honest, I'm a lightweight, so probably even a big glass of wine will have me a bit loose-lipped. This goes without saying. Drink responsibly. This is just a fun little segment, okay? Welcome to Up Past Bedtime After Dark. I'm Bella Messina, and this is your official invite to the group chat. We do not screenshot. We're talking late night chaos, unfiltered confessions, and all the stuff that's too spicy for the main feed. So grab your wine, hide from your kids, and let's get into the good stuff, because what happens after dark stays between us, bestie. So truth or drink, pretty much I put on the Up Past Bedtime Instagram a question box and told you guys, ask me some juicy questions and I either have to answer them or I have to drink. I did get my manager Mel to go through the questions. So I have not seen them before this moment. So bear with me to make decisions and answer on the fly. But I can already tell what some of these questions are going to be like. I feel it in my bones what you guys are going to be serving me with. But that's okay. We're going to have fun. It's going to be a bit cheeky. To be honest, I'm a pretty open book, so I'll probably answer a lot more than you guys would anticipate. But let's get into it. Oh my goodness, I'm already reading some of these. There is a bunch of questions on here from subscribers talking about a topic that is a subscriber-only topic, and you guys know that. I cannot answer a lot of those. There's a lot about this topic. If you want to know what it is, you can come over and subscribe. It'll be announced to you guys a bit later, like to everyone else. So I'm just going to have to drink collectively. I'll do like 2 big gulps for every single question that mentions this topic. And all the subscribers, I know you're all chuckling under your breaths like, hee hee, I know what she's talking about. That's one. Okay, some of these are very funny. All right, I don't know. Maybe I'll just go back to the start and then we'll just go through and try and do as many as I can, I guess. Do you regret any decisions you have made since leaving your marriage? This is a hard one to answer because like on some hands, yes, and then on other hands, no. Probably a big regret is like the first couple of months I did just like didn't really save. I kind of like treated myself quite a lot, bought myself like a few things. I was like, oh, I really want this and I wanted to do this. Like I got my teeth done and like I don't regret getting my teeth done, but you know, I brought some like furniture. I bought like some new clothing, like just like things that I went out a lot, ate out a lot. Like I was just really sad and was like, I'm just going to do things that make me like feel good and feel happy. And I don't regret that, but I do regret like the financial repercussion of that. Like now that I'm paying for litigation in a divorce and I'm like, oh, shivers, I should have probably saved a lot more and been a lot more conservative. But it is what it is. Like, I don't have massive regrets, but probably if I like did my time over again, I would be a little bit more conservative. I'd still get my teeth done, but that would probably be it. Okay, next question. What was it like getting down and dirty with someone else after such a long relationship? Okay, so I have slept with more than one person since leaving my husband, which is really weird because he was the only like adult person I'd really ever slept with. I think maybe there was one other person that I was like an adult that when I had sex with them, but like I met him like when I was 18. So there's not much wiggle room. And I had a very low body count when I got married, and that body count was 4. So yes, I have slept with a couple of people since leaving my husband. And I'm trying to think of the first. It was, I don't know, it was awkward. Not awkward. It was fine. It was just like, I think I was very used to like intimate sex, you know what I mean? Like when you're having sex with like someone you're married to and whatever, like there's, you know, feelings involved and it's very intimate and, you know, there's lots of like kissing and touching and, you know, it's yeah. I found like the first time I had like sex after leaving my marriage, it was just like physical, and that was really hard to get my head around because I was kind of like, ugh, I've never had sex like this. I'd never had a one night stand before. I'd never had like casual sex, like nothing like that. So I was kind of like, ugh, this is really weird for me. I think like it was normal, like on the outside, just like internally, it was a lot to process. But it also like wasn't bad. Like it just wasn't like the most amazing experience and like, oh my God, like, I don't know, like I am a very emotional person and I like to have a connection with someone when I am like sexual with them. And I think that process just taught me that I'm not really like a casual sex girl. I don't really enjoy it. I don't like really having sex without feelings. I don't know. Like it just really didn't fill any cup up for me. It didn't make me feel recharged or good afterwards. It kind of was just like, okay, well, that's done. Like, I don't know. It wasn't fulfilling for me. And I think that's okay. I think, you know, there's definitely, you know, for some women, power in sex just being sex. But for me, I just didn't find it very fulfilling. I don't find it very fulfilling. And if I'm going to have sex with someone, I like there to be more of an emotional connection going on there. So, yeah, I kind of learned that after leaving my marriage. But it was weird. I didn't feel guilty afterwards, but I did feel a little bit of grief and like mourning, if that makes any sense. Like I was like, no, like my marriage is done. Like we've both had the conversation, like you're single, go do whatever you want. But I still felt like kind of sad because I felt like it was just like another like nail in the coffin. I think anyone who's ever separated from a marriage kind of understands what I mean. I don't know. I didn't have that like feeling of like, I'm going to go out and have sex with anything that moves. Like that was not really what was going on. To be honest, I kind of just had sex for the first time because I felt like I should just like get it over and done with and like rip the Band-Aid off. Like it wasn't something that I was like, woohoo, I can't wait to do this. I was kind of like, all right, let's just like get this done so that like the awkward first time having sex with someone after my husband is like finished, so that when I actually like am ready to date and meet someone that is like I'm interested in, I'm not doing that awkward process with them. I don't know if that was a healthy way to look at it, but that's the truth of the matter. I'm only 2 sips in and I'm giving it all to you guys. I realized as well, like I just jumped straight into these questions. I didn't do like a little life update. Like I gave you guys like the shortest blurb ever. And then I'm like, okay, straight into it. So strap in, girlies. Sorry for the jump scare of me just like diving straight in, but we're doing it, all right? I feel like I just got to not overthink this. Otherwise I'm going to censor a lot. And the whole point of this is to be candid, okay? Do you think your personality has changed in a good or bad way since leaving your husband? I think it's changed in a good way. I don't think my personality has changed. I feel like I lost my personality. I don't know if that was to do with my marriage or it was just, you know, I had 2 babies in 2 years. I don't know. But I feel like since leaving, I've had a lot of time to be by myself, and that has let me like bring my personality back out again. And I feel like I've allowed myself to have fun again. I'm obviously 50-50 custody, so I do get, time without my children, which allows me to have time to refill my cup, which is definitely a luxury that not a lot of parents have. It's a luxury, but it's not a luxury. Like having 50-50 custody is horrendous and heartbreaking, and I would definitely prefer to have my children 100% of the time. But it is nice to have a break sometimes and have some time to spend on myself. And I feel like I've come back. Like a lot of my long-term friends, like friends that I've been friends with for like, 10 years, 15 years, are like, oh my God, the old Bella is back. And I definitely feel that too. Someone said, favorite sex position, easy, cowgirl. I love being on top. I made a joke once that my favorite sex position was starfish, okay? And I was just joking around. I was just being a silly, goofy gal, freshly postpartum. And someone asked me on a question box. And I was like, lol, my favorite position is starfish. The way the internet has run with that, it was a joke. Okay, guys, take it as a joke. Like there's nothing wrong with missionary. A bit of starfish every now and again can be a good time if you're tired. I don't know, if the guy's willing to like, be on his shit and like really grind. But no, my favorite position is being on top. Front ways, what's that? Like not reverse cowgirl, just normal cowgirl on top. I feel like it is the most stimulating as a woman. You get to kiss, you can both see each other. Yes, that is my favorite position. I knew this question was coming. Why are you and Adrian getting a divorce? What happened? Cheers, dollies. Did you think I would be saying that one on here? You guys know the rule. You guys know the rule. Someone said, do you think you'll ever get married again? I actually don't know the answer to this question myself. I think you got to catch me on the right day. Sometimes I think like, yeah, I would get married, but to be honest, I'd never do a big wedding again. Like if I got married again, it would be something very low key. Probably like I would want to go and just like get married at the courthouse and then have like a dinner, a very small intimate dinner like afterwards with like friends and family. That would be something I would be like way more leaning towards than like a big traditional wedding. I don't think I would ever do that again. I'm not against getting married again, but it's also like not a make or break for me. Like if I met a man and he was like, I never want to get married, I'd probably just be like, okay, sounds fine to me. Like I'd still want a ring. I'd be like, you're still getting me an engagement ring because I want a diamond on my finger. But the actual process of like the wedding, I'm like, I don't have to do that. Like I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Like I think when you go through a divorce, you really realize that like being married and having like a good marriage has got nothing to do with your wedding day. You know what I mean? Like I could take or leave a wedding day. Like if I have a healthy marriage, it does not matter to me whether I get like professional photos and pay like, a ridiculous amount of money to have all my friends party and drink on me. Like I don't care. Like I've done that and it was beautiful. I do not regret my big traditional wedding. And maybe I feel this way because I've had a big traditional wedding. And if I hadn't, I would be like, no, I still want the big wedding. I've kind of scratched that itch and it was a really beautiful day. And I don't regret my wedding in any way, shape or form, but I don't have that like itching need to ever do that again. But if my partner, if I like met someone and I fell deeply in love and it was really important to them to have a traditional wedding, like to be honest, I'd probably do it. But also to be honest, I don't think I would be like in a long-term partnership with someone who that was like so important to them. I just feel like, I don't know, that's just not something that I'm like aligned with or looking for anymore. So many people asking what it's like the first time having sex outside of marriage. I'm glad I answered that like early on. Have you ever got a speeding ticket? No, I have never got a speeding ticket, although I have had a head-on car crash that was like ruled that I was at fault, but it was kind of like a thing where I was like turning on a green, like solid circle, like not a green arrow, like a turn any time with care, like give way. And then someone was speeding and then we ended up like having a head-on collision. So like, yeah, I've had something like deemed that like I was at fault, but not that I can recall. I haven't had a speeding ticket. No, I'm pretty like strict with car safety. I had a very close family member who was hit by a car and passed away. And I think I really know firsthand the devastation that can result from motor vehicle accidents. And so I'm very, very cautious around, speeding and anything to do with like car safety. Do I hit like poles or scratch my car on like gutters, like my rims are destroyed, or like, yes, I'm very clumsy in like that sense. Like my car is like scratched up. I think my like depth perception is really, really bad because I've scratched it on like heaps of different things. But in terms of like actual dangerous driving, I do not participate in. I've also never, ever, 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 ever in my life drunk drive. Never. And I seriously judge people who do. And I have the little notification on my phone or the focus thing on my phone that when I drive, my phone goes into like driving mode. So I don't get like notifications and you can't text me and things like that unless you're on my like favorites list or whatever it is. Someone else said, have you ever cheated or been cheated on? Ooh, big question. No, I've never cheated. I would never cheat. I am just like a big believer that like cheating is like an unforgivable sort of action. You can't come back from it. The trust is gone. There's no foundation for the relationship. Like I've always believed that, I just really, 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 really take like infidelity seriously. And I know that some couples can come back from it, but I just believe like once you cheat, that's the end for me personally. And if in your relationship, you've been able to like build back after infidelity, good on you. You're a better woman than I am, but I just couldn't do that. I just couldn't. It is too big of a sin. I don't know what's a better word for it. Like for me, it's too big of a fault. And I just couldn't let it go because of like personal stuff that's happened in my life around infidelity. Ooh, someone says, have you ever been with a woman sexually or ever considered being with a woman? I have never, ever, never, ever. I've never even kissed a girl. Like I can't even think if I've like pecked a girl, to be honest, but I've definitely never like properly kissed a girl or done anything else. People are always really shocked when I say that because like, oh, what about in high school? Like, didn't you just like joke around and kiss your friend at a party? The thing is, my best friend in high school was in the closet for being a lesbian, okay? And so if that was ever like brought up at a party, like you girls should kiss, she would be like, oh my God, no, we can't kiss. Like she was so just like, no, I will, like so mortified at the idea because she was like, they're onto me. Like they're going to know that I'm a lesbian. Everyone knew she was a fucking lesbian. Anyway, I love you, Mel, but when you came out to me, I was like, I fear you may be the last person to figure this out because everyone else here is on the same page. But because of that, like we never changed in front of each other. Like she was really weird about sleeping in the same bed. We never like kissed, never did anything like that. And then I don't know, like I never really have had the urge to do it with a girl. Like sometimes now after I've like left my marriage, I've had like the urge of like, maybe I should just kiss a girl just so I can say that I've kissed a girl. But to be honest, like I never, like it's not really something that like crosses my mind, which makes me sad because I love women and I would love if I had like a little bit of, bi-ness in me or something. And then, I didn't have to like be with a man to get like romantically turned on. But like I've also never turned my head for a woman sexually, unfortunately. Like I've looked at women and been like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. And like, I love, your hair. But like I've never looked at a woman and been like, oof, like sexually oof. But I've, looked at many men and been like, oh, you are hot, and, turned my head for them. And so I have, in a very sad sense, come to the conclusion that I think I am just straight. I think I am just straighty 180, love the D, unfortunately. I wish I had a little bit more. Like even the sense of like someone asked me like, would you, do like a threesome or something like that? And I was like, to be honest, if I did one, I would only be doing it with like, 2 girls, 1 guy for the sake of the man. Like I would be doing it because I know that he would be loving it, but like I wouldn't be doing it because like being with the girl would be like, charging me up. And that was sad. And I was like, ew, I don't want to have a threesome for the male gaze. That's disgusting. So that's really sad. But yeah, I've never been with a woman. I've considered being with a woman just to like tick it off a list. but I've never had like the real drive to sort of pursue that. And I had the opportunity, you know what I mean? Like I've been single, I've left a marriage. If I really wanted to, I could have explored that and I didn't. You know, when I went on the dating apps, I clicked exclusively just looking for men. That really hurts my soul to say. I wish it was different, but this is just case in point. You can't choose your sexuality, because if I could, I would not choose men. I'll tell you that much. Someone said, is there a sexy position that you're very interested in trying when you get a new partner? I'm trying to think like if there's like something specific that I haven't tried that I'm like, oh, I want to try this. But I'm just the type of gal, like I was kind of like this in my marriage. Like if I wanted to try something, like I would just, you know, throw it out there and be like, you want to try this? I don't know. Like, so I feel like if there was something that I was like itching to try, I would have tried it by now. Let me think on that one and come back. Maybe like another question will jog me and be like, oh, wait, no, I did want to try that. Someone said, if you had to walk away from social media as a job, what job would you go into? I've actually thought about this a few times. Like when the hate's been really bad and I've been like, you know, feeling extra depressed, I've been like, maybe I should just like give this all up. And then I was like, what would you do instead? To be honest, if I left social media, I'd probably go and work in like the back end of social media, like something in marketing or public relations, events, like for a brand in-house would probably be something that I could like quite easily transition into. If I really like something happened that burned me for social media in general, I just didn't want to be around it at all, I'd probably go into teaching. To be honest, I would really love that. I would have to go back to uni though and do like the bridging and do like, is it like an extra year, an extra 2 years you have to do? But yeah, that would probably be my two options, I think. Yeah. If I had like my time over again, I would go and like try and go like be an actor. Like I really enjoyed drama in school. I did lots of plays. I did, you know, theatre sports. I did like all of that type of stuff. I really, really loved it. And I really regret that like when I was younger and it wasn't that deep, like before I had kids, that I didn't try and do like something more with acting, because I thought it was, I don't know, I just really loved that. And like if I could do it again, I'd probably go and do something more in like the acting side. But I guess like social media is like, it's not like acting, but it's like got a bit of like creativity in that sort of sense. So someone said, do you genuinely think you're better off without your husband? I do. I think we're both better off without each other. Like if I'm going to be, you know, take my ego completely out of it and be completely honest, I think we're both better off without each other. I think we're happier without each other. I think, you know, having some time to be individuals has been really good. We met so young and then we were together from like day dot. Like we never spent time apart, slept, you know, in the same bed every single night. Like we were kind of at each other's side and like sewn into each other's hips. We worked together, then we, you know, got married, had kids really quick. Like I feel like we lost ourselves a little bit and we didn't have time to grow or discover or like reflect or any of those type of things. And I feel like being apart has allowed us to do that. I think we both realized we're very different people. That's okay. And I think, you know, being apart has allowed us to be those different people and, you know, really hone into who we want to be. And I think that I am genuinely happier and better off out of my marriage, which was a very hard thing to come to terms with initially. And to be honest, now I've kind of found peace with it because I think that I'm a better mother, a better friend, a better sister, a better daughter, better everything by being a happier, more content person. Okay, another question. Raunchiest place you've ever done the deed? I think I can share this one. I had sex in a sauna once. I wouldn't recommend it. It was freaking dry. It was not sexy at all. It was very, very dry. And this is very, can I get in trouble? Allegedly, it was in the sauna of a hotel and allegedly anyone could walk in. And allegedly I was very young, as in sort of a minor, allegedly. So I would not recommend that. But that's probably the raunchiest place I've ever had sex. I don't know. I'm not much for like, what is that kink when you have sex, like where people can catch you? Not really into that. It stresses me out and I feel like I can't enjoy the sex. So yeah. Do you know what I did learn recently though? There are sex clubs in Brisbane, like actual like sex clubs where you go and people are like having sex in front of you and stuff. Like I didn't learn that because I went to one. I learned about that because someone told me about their friend going to one because their marriage was like falling apart. And I don't know why you thought going to a sex club would save your marriage. But anyway, and I was so shocked. I didn't know. I thought they were just things in the movies. I did not realize that was a real thing. Anyway, when we're talking about raunchy places to have sex, that triggered in my brain. And that's wild to me. I've never done anything like that. But yeah, probably a sauna is the raunchiest place I've had sex. I don't know if that's really raunchy, but it was really dry, girlies. So I would not recommend trying it. Okay. Ooh, this is a spicy one. Are there any followers or subscribers you don't like, but you pretend to be nice to? No, I feel like if you are a follower or subscriber that I know you enough to know you, like maybe you come to bingo or you're in book club and we like actually interact a lot, definitely not. Because I feel like if we're at the point where I am interacting with you a lot, it means I like you or, you know, we get along. And then I feel like, you know, if that's not you, I don't know you well enough to, you know, like you or not like you. I feel like pretend to be nice to. I don't pretend to be nice to anyone, but it's like I always try and be nice in like my, you know, interactions with people. Yeah. But I don't feel like I like pretend to be nice to people, you know? Yeah. No, there's definitely no followers that I'm thinking that I'm like, they're so annoying or anything like that. I don't know. I think you guys are really cool. And I'm not just saying that like, I don't know, maybe some people will roll their eyes, but I genuinely like the people that follow me. And I'm not afraid. Like if someone's rude to me in my DMs or if someone comes with like some rogue opinion that I'm like, poof, that's so wrong. Like I'm actually not afraid for healthy discourse and like I will go back to them and I won't just like bend over and pretend to be nice to you. Like I will say like, hey, that's a really rude thing to say. Don't say that to me, you know? So no, I feel like if you annoy me, I'll let you know. Someone said, would you ever send a nude to a partner? If you have you ever regretted it? Yeah, I think sending nudes is a really fun thing to sort of do, especially when you're in like a long-term relationship. It's a little bit of spiciness, you know, send them a little nude while they're at work. Why the heck not? Have I ever regretted it? No, I never sent a nude when I was in like high school or like dealing with teenage boys. Cannot be trusted and would spread a picture around. But like in an actual relationship where, you know, the person loves you and they're not going to be showing your pictures to everyone, yeah, I will send a nude. Why not? Why the heck not? Boys love it. I think girls love it too. Yeah, it's fun. It's like something, I don't know, bit different, bit spicy. Give it a go, ladies. I don't know. I think it's fun for you as well to feel like connected to yourself and feeling like sensual is like, you know, taking some nudes and like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's sexy personally. And personally, if you saw the hidden folder on my iPhone, I think you girls would be shooketh. Biggest red flags in a relationship. Lying. If someone... This is me personally. If someone said they would vote for Trump if they were American, that's a red flag to me. If someone's rude to their mum, that's a red flag for me. I'm trying to think of other red flags that just like instantly make me be like, ugh. I'm sorry to any of the girlies that this applies to. I have so many friends that this applies to. Just personally, I don't know why. If they're in the army, red flag to me. Something about it. I have some beautiful friends that are married to army men and they are lovely. But for some reason, I can't do it myself, okay? Something about it makes me be like, Thank you for your service, sir. I love that for you. I'm grateful for that. But I don't think I could date you. I'm sorry, King. If they say all their exes are crazy, I'm like, If they are a dad and they don't have like a significant amount of custody of their child, red flag, big red flag for me. Like, why aren't you seeing your kid more? Why don't you have a close relationship with your kid? If he gambles, red flag, big red, like not just like has a punt like every now and again. Like if he's like really into gambling, to me, red flag. And if he drinks every single night of the week, red flag. These are just personal. I'm not judging if anyone's partners do these things. These are just for me personal red flags. Okay. Oh my God. This subscriber's topic, literally every second question's about it, girlies. You're really stuffing me. I'm going to have to take so many drinks to like make up for all these questions I can't answer. I can't even say the question. I don't know what that means in terms of drinking. How's the dating scene been treating you? Someone said, fave sex toy ever discovered. Truly, queens, like I'm not just saying this, the libido. I use it all the time. It is so good. I love it. I've used it in sex. I've used it by myself. I've used it married. I've used it single. It's the best. I cannot stress to you how much of like a great little companion it is. And I would recommend out of 10. And I do have a discount code and it's Bells 20, I think, or Bella 20. I'm actually feeling a little like, woo, okay. Someone said, are you actually a vanilla gal in bed? Or was that a facade to save your ex's image? I don't understand that bit. Was that a facade to save your ex's image? Are you actually vanilla in bed? I don't think I'm vanilla in bed. I don't think a partner of mine would ever say I'm vanilla in bed. I'm quite a confident person, like just normally. And I feel like in bed, I'm quite a confident person too. Like I don't really get shy in bed. So I would not say that I am vanilla. No. Someone said, have you ever had anal sex? No, I haven't actually. I have never had anal sex in my life. Yeah. I want to go into more about like why, but I feel like I can't because I feel like it's an invasion of like privacy for someone else if I like start talking about the answers around that. But I've never had anal sex, but I'm open to trying it. This is the weirdest podcast ever. I hope you freaking girls love this, okay? I hope you feel close and connected to me with these questions. Wow, that one has made me blush a little bit. Okay, here's one. Not showing your kids' faces on social. Was that a new agreement with the ex or your choice? That was my choice. I actually didn't discuss that decision with my ex-partner at all because this is really interesting, but at the end of the day, legally, you can't control anything that another adult posts about your children online. It's not a law and there's no real like precedent for it in court rulings either. So I couldn't like tell my ex-partner what he could or couldn't post anyway. But I also wouldn't. I allow that to be an autonomous decision of him as a parent and for him to make their own decisions about his social media. I just decided to make those decisions and not show their faces anymore because I felt like my audience is significant enough that, you know, me constantly showing them would have an impact. And also, since getting divorced, the amount of hatred and vileness I have had to endure online has become quite significant. And I just do not want those people to have access to my children. I feel like seeing my children's face, knowing information about my children, having access to them, that's a privilege. And that's not a privilege I'm willing to share with trolls and haters. So I took it away. And I also believe, you know, Rosie is almost at school age. It would be better for her, you know, going to school, not to have such a big presence. I think it would be easier for her to make friends and it would be easier for me to get along with other parents and stuff like that. I think it's better for her privacy, both of their privacy. Like maybe they want to do a job where they're older, where they can't have a public image, and I don't want to take that choice away from them when they're so young. So yeah, it was a choice that I made and I didn't discuss it with my ex-partner. We've never discussed it. I just made the decision and I rolled with it. I am blocked by him on social media. So I can't tell you if he has also made that decision or if he's continued on posting how he wants to post. But maybe you guys know. You would know more than I know. Someone said, have you met your ex-partner's new girlfriend and do you like her? Yes, I have met her and I don't know her well. I've only met her once, but yes, I thought she was really nice. I thought she was well presented. She seemed intelligent. She spoke well. She dressed well. She held herself well. She seemed very warm. She had a very like maternal vibe about her. Yeah. And I thought she was great. I didn't have any negative things to say about her. I was actually really happy about the vibe I got from her for her interacting with my children. At the end of the day, with 50-50 custody, down the line, if, my ex-partner and her relationship, developed enough that they would live together, she would have just as much access to my children as me, 50-50. We would see she would see my children as much as I see my children. So I want someone who has, some of the qualities I just listed off about this person that I got from them. And I would want them to be a really nice person because they're spending a lot of time with my children. So it actually made me really happy that she had those qualities and that I couldn't really find anything about her that I didn't like. Again, it was a very minimal interaction, maybe 15, 20 minutes. So yeah, I don't really know her that well. But also I think it is so tired, the narrative of the ex-wife and the new girlfriend hating each other. Why? Why do we need to do that? She's a stranger to me. She doesn't owe me anything. She hasn't done anything wrong. There's no reason for us to have beef. And I want my children's childhood to be nice and happy, and it would be nice if they could do some things with their parents together. And doing things with their parents together would mean that the new partner would most likely also be involved. And I think it would be better for all three of us if we could get along and that not be miserable. And so my attitude is to be as friendly as possible to any new partners. I don't think I'd ever be best friends with them, but there is no reason why it would need to be, hostile and tense at all. I would love to be able to be in the same room and it not be so uncomfortable we all want to rip our own skin off. You know what I mean? And that's the attitude I have. And yeah, I have nothing bad to say about her. And I also don't want to say too much about her because it's not my relationship. I don't know her that well. And yeah, they deserve the privacy that they are entitled to have. But yes, I have no bad blood and nothing bad to say. She seemed very, very lovely. Someone said, what do you think about navigating new partners after a split you didn't envision? Look, the answer I just gave about the girlfriend probably made me seem very mature, and very level-headed and wise beyond my years. That's not with her, there's no animosity or whatever. With him, there is obviously complex feelings there. We were together for 10 years. We were married. Our marriage ended very suddenly. It has not been that long. There is a lot of complicatedness and messiness that sort of comes along with the whole idea of, being repartnered and whatever. And it's really confusing and complex. And I don't know. I definitely don't think I've gotten it perfect. I definitely don't think I've always been graceful and amazing, but I try my hardest to think of my children first when doing things. And I just try, and remember me and my ex are going to be in each other's lives forever. At the end of the day, for the rest of forever, we are going to be in each other's lives because we have two beautiful children together and we are both very involved parents who want to be involved and want to continue to be involved. And unfortunately, the other side of the coin to that is that means we have to be in each other's lives and we have to have some form of relationship for the next forever. Also, as someone who has divorced parents, I'm nearly 30 years old and both my parents still have an involvement in my life and so then still have to be involved with each other. So I'm very aware of the fact that we will always be in relationship with each other in some capacity and we will always be family to each other in some capacity. So I try to remember, is this really worth having a disagreement about and causing a big to-do about and then, still paying for it in 50 years, or is it something you can let go? Is it something that doesn't matter that much? Is it something you don't need to dig in and, be petty over or be, nasty over or be, emotional over? I think I've really, try and remind myself pick and choose your battles. And also I try and remember with the new relationship, it's not about me. I don't have any involvement in it, I try to really decenter myself from it and just be it literally has nothing to do with me and it's not about me and it's not something that needs to concern me outside of anything to do with parenting. And, we both decided we didn't want to continue on with our marriage. And the flip side of that is both of us are allowed to make new partnerships and move on. And so I have to let that happen. If that's the choices that are being made, I have to respect that and I have to let that happen. And that's what I try and remind myself all the time. It's easier said than done, but that is what I do try and keep in the forefront. Someone said, if you could tell Bella at the start of your marriage/relationship how things would work out, would you? Oh, this is a big question. This is actually a question I've asked myself a lot of times over. No, I don't think I could because of the girls. Because if I said anything, it could change this, timeline of events, and I wouldn't end up with the two beautiful children that I do have. And I would not trade them in for the world. No amount of, heartbreak, nothing could stop me from ending up with my Benny and Rosie. I think if the relationship ended before we had kids, then probably yes, I would have gone back and said don't do it, or whatever the thing that I wanted to say was. But since I do have kids and that is the reality I'm dealing with, no, I don't think I could go back and say anything because I love my girls and I couldn't be without them, and I would want to know them in this lifetime and every other lifetime. So I just have to sit back and let her make the decisions she needed to make. And I often remind myself of that I wouldn't go back and do it over because of the girls. I think I would just say enjoy the good times while they're good and know that you're strong when they're not. I actually didn't have to drink as much as I thought I would have to drink. I didn't want this episode to go on too long, so I think I'm going to end the questions there. I thought you guys were going to be juicier, to be honest. I feel like there's not much you could ask that I don't answer those, so I'm kind of like a tough crowd because I will answer whatever. I don't really care with you guys. Sometimes I reflect on my digital footprint and I'm like, ooh, and I'm like, don't think about it too long, girl. Don't think about it too long. But yeah, I had really fun. Babe, you're only half a glass through. I had so much fun recording that. We do have 3 more After Dark episodes that are going to get trickled out through the rest of the season that I think you're really going to like, more along these vibes where it's just like fun and chatty and just, a bit of like community building, a bit of connection with my galleys. I really hope you enjoyed the first episode of the season. I'm so excited for the season to be launched. That episode came out yesterday when you're listening to this. So, make sure if you haven't listened to the first episode of the season, go and listen to that. I'm really excited for that to kind of go ahead. And it is literally like midnight now that I'm recording this. I'm going to finish, I might have a few more sips of my glass of wine. Then I'm going to bed because I know my children will be up at like 5 a.m. because that's their vibe right now, getting up at 5 a.m. It's making me very, very tired. Why am I singing so much? Okay, I'm going to love you and I'm going to leave you. Sweet dreams.